this again. I switched to a better Wi-Fi with better speed test results. And hello, Denise, and hi, Erik.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
I can. Perfect. Thank you.
Awesome.
Erik says hi. He says, hi, Mom. He goes, this is the second time I talked to you today.
I know. I did a whole hour session with somebody and forgot to push record. So it was a total waste. But it's okay. Now I have it to where it automatically starts recording. So,
He said it wasn't a waste.
Yeah, I know. I think it helped the medium who tended to be nervous, gave her some practice. So that's good. Okay, we've got, first of all, a shout out to Raylene. I'm so happy she's alive. Raylene is doing great. I guess she'll probably be in the hospital for 3 more weeks. And today what we're doing is answering the Q&A for her that she had for clients. And Denise has so graciously volunteered her time to do that. And I just really appreciate that.
Oh, you're so welcome. You're so welcome.
It's so sweet. And she's a sweet soul. And so many people have just rallied, in her behalf. And I'm so grateful for that. Okay. Well, we might as well just get started. All right. Got a couple from Cheryl. Is our uncle's lady friend trustworthy? That's a loaded question. I already think she knows it's not. She's not, but go ahead.
He says she really has a couple of questions, 2 questions in that one question. Is she trustworthy?
Okay.
Does she love my uncle? Yes, she does. But she has ulterior motives.
And what are those ulterior motives, actually?
To benefit her.
Monetarily?
He said yes.
God.
Yes.
That's terrible. Okay. All right, here's another one. And we'll just make really brief answers for this.
Okay. What
steps do I need to take to be a channel, or can I be?
Erik says that everyone can be, because everyone has these abilities. He said, easy steps. Start meditating every day. Start getting into the habit of meditating, connecting with your higher self. He says, connecting with whatever belief system you have, and start connecting. Start feeling that grounding, he said. He says, there's so much on. He says, man, we live in a best time right now. He says, because there's so much on YouTube that you can do to, meditations that you can follow.
True.
He says, start out by meditating. He goes, because that will get you starting to be more consciously aware of the things you already intuitively know.
Yeah. What's the first steps you should take as far as channeling is concerned? Automatic writing, a pendulum. I mean, there's so many. They just start.
He says the pendulum is good, because when you said that, he showed me she gets excitement with that because she can see things.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so she can.
All right, good.
Erik is loving Bella.
Oh, Bella can't get out of the way. You're a camera hawk. And, maybe practice automatic writing. That's always fun. It really does work. Here's one from Gitika. What do I need to do to experience happiness in my life, work/career? Her work, basically.
He says one of the things you do is you go into work and you go in thinking I have to do everything for everybody. You never think about what you want to do for yourself. And he says, he's not saying you have to quit your job to find fulfillment or to find happiness or peace, whatever it is. He says, but go in there. What can you do today to make yourself feel good? And he says, rearrange how you do things. He says, stop being everybody else's doormat.
Oh, so many things are about perspective,
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. Oh, that's really good advice, Erik. I have 2 from Amber. What is my life purpose, my soul purpose? He
says your main one is to learn how to really love yourself deep from within. He says that's a lot of people's. He says, but that's one of your main ones. He says, because when you find that, you're going to find some of the things that truly make your heart sing. He says, or make it, he's saying hum, make your heart hum. One of the things I see colors, so I wouldn't be surprised if one of them is in the arts, like some type of painting or something with the arts.
Oh, awesome. So how do you learn to deeply love yourself, though?
He says, first of all, stop believing all the shit that you collected. He said, he says, start questioning. Why do I feel that way about me? He says, start questioning. He says, it's like with everything else, people just believe everything. You believe that a loaf of bread is 100% natural because it says it's labeled.
Oh.
He says, you never read anything. And he says, and the same with you. He says, start asking yourself, why do I feel like shit, Erik? Yeah. And he goes, start asking, like, where did that come from? He says, you'll find that it didn't even come from you.
Yeah, it might have been one of your parents, a sibling, a peer, so many possibilities. So, yeah.
And he says, but don't get hung up on blaming those people for how you feel.
No.
He says, don't get hung up on that.
That is really important. Okay, another one from her. How can I spiritually be the best mom and wife that I can be?
He says that one's easy.
See, she's the kind of person you can tell who thinks about others before herself, just like in the workplace. So that makes total sense.
He said, start by going within, spending some quiet time with you. He says, meditation or going to get a facial or whatever it is that you like to do, just start spending time with you, because the more you nurture your own self, that vibration goes out to your children, and then it goes out to your husband, spouse, whatever, because they feel that. He says, and then you'll be seeing how they'll be like, oh, let me do the dishes for you, or I've already made the bed.
Oh, that's awesome. So yeah, Amber, I think this whole thing is that you need to love yourself and take time for yourself, do for yourself, put yourself first, really, and that's not selfish. And everything, all the energy will flow in the right direction. All right, April, I just need guidance in my love life.
He says, first of all, just, he says, you pick the same people, different face, same people. He says, and you think that you're not worthy of anything better. He said, so I feel like she's with someone that right now, or someone's coming in, and he says, take away that fear, because your fear blocks you from going further in relationships. It's like you can't, and he makes me feel, I feel the fear that she feels like I can't do this. She gets too scared. So then she creates things and sabotages
find courage and go with your intuition. Believe that you are worth everything. Everything. Worthy of love.
He says, F the fear.
Yeah, fuck the fear.
That's exactly what he said.
I know. All right. So Devin, last name T period. How does Jake Erickson feel about me?
I get there's a closeness there. Erik is showing me that there's a closeness there, that but there's a little bit of confusion on their part. I feel like there's either the relationship is young or they're young, and Erik is saying that just kind of ease off, just back off. I get that there's a closeness there.
What do you mean back off? What
not being so needy, asking questions. Erik says, don't ask so many questions, or what do you think? What about or being just relax. Because Erik says that I feel love in that from that person.
So just relax and open your heart.
He said, have fun with it.
Yeah, and don't try to predict the future, because that creates so much anxiety, and looking at the past creates depression. Trying to figure out the future creates anxiety. So just, live in the now. Live in the now. I feel like I'm channeling him a little bit, but yeah.
He says, you are, Mom. He says,
Awesome.
you are.
Okay.
And he wanted me to say that when you start predicting the future, he says you fuck up the future.
Oh, I know.
So
That's so true.
Just leave it.
Just be happy with, enjoy every moment with Jake.
Yes.
All right, Constance, I recently moved a year ago. I want to know if I'm on the right path.
Erik says, yes, you are, but don't be so quick to have everything, in its place, and like as if you lived there for 5-10 years. Just enjoy where you are. Erik says, just have fun with the way things are right now. He says,
okay.
He said, you're definitely on a right path. He said, and the more that you relax, the more you're going to know that you made the right choice.
Good. All right. So moving was a good thing for her, right, Erik?
Yes, he said, very good.
Okay. Lisa, what is my soul's purpose?
He says, like, there's just not one thing for you to do. And he says, I feel like there's school in there, like you're thinking about going to school or you're going to go to school. But Erik says there's school in there. And Erik says he wants you to follow. He says he wants you to really trust your gut in this and go forth with it. He
So
says,
does Lisa have a good intuition? That she
yes, but he says, but she, like the rest of us, we question it.
Yeah, we doubt it.
Yes.
So Lisa, what you are feeling is your truth. Go for it, girl. Just go for it. And there's some education that will, apparently bring you closer to achieving your soul's purpose, right, Erik?
He said, yes, definitely, because what it's going to do is it's just going to clear things up for her. And she's going to go, oh, okay. And it will also help her with trust.
What will?
By her going and following this path.
Okay, got it.
There's a school thing in there. I get there's some kind of education. I don't know if it's like a 4-year degree or 6 month, but
Or
Erik
a certification of some sort.
Yes, but Erik says by her going after that, that's going to help her with her, like give her courage and give her trust to know, like, yeah, I am doing the right thing.
Oh, that makes sense. All right. Shashirika? That's a pretty name.
He says, that's real good, Mom.
Oh, I don't know. That's probably way off. But anyway, when will I get my breakthrough in my career in the U.S.?
Erik says 2 years.
Ooh, that's pretty quick. Is there anything she needs to do to make sure that happens? Obviously, there's free will and, so many people, but.
Yeah, he says, just know it's coming. He says she feels it in her gut, Mom. She feels it. But he goes, sometimes we feel things and we want it to happen instantaneously.
Oh, yeah.
And he says, you will totally understand why it didn't happen as quickly as you wanted it to, because there's so much more fun along the way in this period of you getting what it is. He says, he's showing me 2 years. He said, yes, free will can play into it, but I feel from Erik, like, yeah.
That's good. Is there anything that she should do differently to? Yeah.
He said, if a job offer comes along that seems really good, he says to investigate that.
Okay.
To look at it.
All right, good. Veronica, my partner and I literally just moved out of the current place and temporarily are staying with friends. Where do my guides / angels see me going next to align with my path?
So she moved out and she's living with friends?
Yeah.
Her and her partner?
Yeah, temporarily.
Eric says this is kind of like a holding tank, is what he's saying, because it's given them a lot of time to, giving them time to think more clearly.
A detention center. I'm kidding.
He says it's given them time to think a little bit more clearer because they don't have a lot of the responsibilities when you have your own place. But he says be real clear in your thoughts and your discussions and take time to discuss it with your partner. He says because you don't want to wear out your welcome.
Oh, that's true. So where do her guides, Erik or angels, see her going next to align with her path? What's the next step?
Erik says to just keep going with the thought process that you already have. He says
Okay, good.
because he says that's the direction, and he says, but Erik says, but she gets a little scared, and so she kind of pulls over to the side of the street, and then and that's kind of like what she's doing now. She kind of pulled over to the side of the street,
Okay.
and so, but just keep going with what you're with the thoughts that you had.
Okay, sounds great. Here's one from B. What health issue is causing my distressing hair loss?
Erik said thyroids.
Oh, well, that's a very common one. All
And
right.
Erik says that has to do with your throat chakra.
Would it help her to cleanse and, balance and so on, so forth, her throat chakra?
Erik said definitely, and he said if you could get with somebody, he keeps doing this, if you could get with somebody that holistically understands this and that can help, he says that would definitely help.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, look up Ryan Adragna, Adragna, on Facebook. Message him because he can help you totally clean up that chakra and balance it. So
he's excellent. I really like him a lot.
He's really good. Okay. From Nikki. Miscarriages / infertility are my deepest wounds. Will I become a mother this lifetime?
Erik said yes, but it may be through adoption.
Okay.
And he says, don't rule that out because you'll love it. He said, don't rule that out.
Okay. What about low-dose naltrexone? They're using that a lot for infertility and baby aspirin during the first trimester. Is that something that will increase her odds? Because a low-dose naltrexone improves the egg quality and does so many other things. There are some people who are using that and intralipids to improve fertility.
Erik said that may help, but he's shown me her uterus is the issue.
Oh, okay. All right.
But Erik says to let go of mom stuff. Work on mom stuff. So I don't know how her relationship is with her mom or whatever, but to let go of mom stuff.
Will that help?
Erik said, yeah, because he said all of our shit's emotional.
Yeah.
And he said, so he said yeah, to let go of mom stuff. But he also said, but don't but you definitely, he says, you'll be a mom, but it may be through adoption.
May or may not. Okay.
But either way, he says the soul that you would carry or the soul that the baby through adoption
will be the same.
Yes.
Oh,
he said so.
Wow.
He said, don't worry about that.
That is really cool to know. All right.
That is. I'm going to have to ask him about that.
God, that's so cool. Okay, we have two from Julie. The first is, what type of employment does Erik see me going into the next future? Need to resign from the stressful job after nearly 8 years. Ugh, awful. Man, you're a trooper lasting that long.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Erik says, though, when you leave, just to really take like an evaluation of everything. He says, because some of that stuff you're going to take with you because it's how you respond to things, so when you go to your next job, I feel like he's showing me something to do with the school industry of some sort. I'm not sure what. And
education of some sort.
Yeah,
What do
maybe
you mean?
not.
Oh,
He says not. You're not going to be a teacher or anything, but it's something within the education industry. And he says she's probably going, oh, there's no way in hell. He said there's things in there for you to look at. He said,
is it going to be something where she develops her own company, her own products, her own services, or will she work for somebody?
I get that she'll be working for somebody for a while.
Okay.
That's what Eric is showing me. It's kind of like a relaxation mode type.
Okay. Good. And then will she eventually have some sort of, be self-employed in the industry somehow related to school?
Eric said definitely.
Okay, good. That's interesting. All right, Julie.
There'll be traveling in that too.
Oh, only to Tahiti and Bora Bora and places like that, of course. All right, Julie also says, I have a workman's comp settlement to buy out my future medical. Do the spirits see me resigning from my job and being offered a good amount that I am happy with?
Eric says that they're going to offer you a sizable amount. He says, but nobody's ever happy with the amount that they get.
Oh, of course they're not.
But Eric says, when you take the money, just remember, just don't just look at one piece of the situation, look at all of it so that you will understand and know that you got the best of the best in the settlement.
Okay. I'm sure she understands that somehow. There are details we don't know. Jacqueline, Eric, can you tell me if I will make it in my new position? I just need your guidance. If it is not for me, I need to get out. Please let me know.
Eric says, stop being so nervous. He said, the universe got you this job, and so you're fit for it. He says, it's just that there's a lot of different moving parts or whatever it may be. I don't know if it's software or what, but Eric's showing me just a lot of moving things. And he says, just know you're right where you're supposed to be. And he says, and you're not dumb. He says, you got this. And he goes, just relax.
Oh, that's so awesome. Is there anything she needs to do differently than she's doing now? Or something that'll make her feel more confident, et cetera, et cetera? Or to make her enjoy the job more?
He said, just know that you belong there. He says, tell yourself you belong there, because I get that there's 3 people there that really think a lot of you. And he's showing me, there's a man, and he's showing me a man, and I know definitely a woman, but they think a lot of you. He says, but this is your perception that you don't fit in.
Ah, okay. We have 2 from Lanita. That's a pretty name too. What is my life purpose?
Eric is showing me children, so I don't know if it's he said you would be awesome in a daycare. Okay. I don't know if that's something that you ever thought of, because I'm thinking that it would be a hectic job. But he's showing me something with children. I get that you're extremely creative, so you would be able to help facilitate fun projects that involve learning with these young kids in daycare.
Okay, it could be to start her own summer program for kids. I mean, I just don't want her to think too small. I mean, she could work at a daycare. She could create her own line of educational or fun projects for kids. I mean, there's so many things you can do with your love of children.
Absolutely. Eric says, just think about the person that started the tumble bus. He's showing me that bus. Somebody bought a bus and made it into a tumbling bus. And they started driving it around to daycares, and now it's the biggest thing ever. And
that's so cool. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Eric, you were so awful at tumbling. I'm sorry, baby, but you were.
He laughs.
You inherited your mama's genes. She also, a woman says, I'm getting migraines again lately, and I would like to know what is causing them. One thing it could be if you're on birth control pills all of a sudden, or any kind of hormones, sometimes, boom, migraines come back. So just that could be a possibility, but we don't know. And I'm not going to pry. Go ahead.
Eric says that is definitely a big possibility. He's, I don't feel like,
you can even get hormones from foods.
Yes.
Different food products.
Yes, and Erik says diet is a big thing. So he says just read everything, because that is a big thing. He said also too, stress is a big factor, and he says she collects a lot of energy, so it would be good for her to start clearing herself, and she can do that through. You can put apple cider vinegar. He's telling me the things that I know to clear. Apple cider vinegar in your water to cleanse yourself. You can use sea salt, dead sea salt. You can sage yourself, or just put your feet in the grass and ground yourself and just wipe yourself off. He says there's so many things you can do that are so inexpensive. And he says, because you're collecting energies from everyone. He says she's very empath. She's a big empath.
Oh, no wonder she has migraines. But even those Tibetan bells you clink together, you can go to every room, inside your car, around yourself, click.
He said, yes.
That'll do it.
Yes.
And smudging with sage or Palo Santo sticks, also very valuable.
Yes.
Okay, I have two from another person, Joanne. Does my mom have any messages for my sister, Chris, and I?
Erik smiles and he says, your mother loves you, and she, he's telling me that your mom wants you and your sister to start developing to become closer together, start making that bond more, and stop being so critical of each other.
Wow. That's pretty powerful. It's good. Find love, people. And another thing, I need to move within 18 months from New York, and I'm looking at Sarasota, Florida. Yeah, from a high tax to a low tax. Yay! Any messages or advice for this move? Come to Texas. But Sarasota is beautiful. Oh my God, the sand there, the beaches are beautiful.
Yeah. Erik says you're going to love the move. And you're going to love the slower pace in life there. I see you meeting friends immediately. Erik is showing me you're going to start meeting friends immediately when you move.
Good. It really, Sarasota is really cool. You will love it.
Yes.
Okay, so now we have two from Marilla. All right, the first is, I know I'm not a medium, but my question is, am I really sensing, seeing, and hearing then?
Well, Erik laughs and she says right away, I know I'm not a medium. That's her defense mechanism coming in. He says, she is a medium because we're all intuitive. And he says, yes, you are sensing things. Yes. And he says, just believe it. And he says, and even if you're wrong one time, so what? He says, you're learning to trust your gut and your intuitiveness.
That's right. You got to fake it till you make it. Assume that what's coming into you, if it doesn't seem like you know this stuff, just assume it's coming from elsewhere.
Yes, because you will know later on what isn't and what is.
That makes a lot of sense. Should she become a medium as a life's calling?
Erik smiles and he says, if she wants to.
All right. Oh, the second question is, I want to be a psychic medium.
He says,
go ahead.
He says, then if that's what she wants, then she can become that. And he says, but it does take work, because you have to start going within
and courage.
Yes, and a lot of courage, and just know that as you do start going within, you start healing and things start purging out.
Oh, wow.
And he says that's when some mediums say forget it and they don't.
But don't. Keep on keeping on. She says she was doing my tea leaves. I don't know who. Oh, no. My second question is, I went to a psychic medium. Not that I want to be a psychic medium. Erasy. So she was doing my tea leaves. After I drained the liquid from my teacup, there was a perfect 3D design out of the teas. It showed a boat, a fairy, an angel, and a man reading a scroll. My question is, why am I supposed to be doing something for them?
Erik says, no, not that you're supposed to be doing something for them, but Erik says that those tea leaves, that fortune telling through tea leaves, he says that stuff is real. It takes talent and how they, because they set the intent. He said it's real. But he said, and it's not that you're supposed to be doing anything for them. It's just to get your awareness that they're there.
Well, what's the message in that reading? I mean, at least the basic one.
Erik says that the one with the male, I get like that is he's showing me like an uncle is
Okay.
with her.
Okay.
And so that's like a guardian, like what some people would call a guardian angel. The sailboat and that Erik says he's not answering those. He's not answering.
Well, maybe she's supposed to find out for herself. Is that why?
Erik says he's going, yes, that's why. He goes,
Okay.
yes, that's why.
I had a feeling. All right, now we have one from Zoe. What's going on with my marriage? How will my husband, I won't say his name, husband's legal proceedings regarding his father's house turn out?
So she wants to know how her marriage is doing and then how will the legal proceeding. So Erik says, let's start with the easy one, the legal proceedings from the house. He said, that's going to take a little bit of time, but it will all work out. And he says, he goes, the laws we have set up here are designed to take time.
Yeah.
And he says, so if you don't have everything prepared, every I dotted and every T crossed, he says, there's going to be situations depending on what state you live in. He said, so just know that that's going to work out like it's supposed to, but it's just going to take some time. And Erik calls that the bullshit stuff. That's what he says.
Oh, yeah.
And he says with the marriage and that, he says that Erik shows me that you're both focused on each other's faults and not each other's back. And so start focusing on being there, supportive, like don't stop. He says, stop focusing on the faults.
Yeah. Robert told me something really cool. It's like, let people be who they are.
Yes.
And oh my God, that's such a relief. You just don't know. Just let people be who they are, flaws and all.
Yeah. Erik says, stop wanting to have the last word.
Oh yeah. Oh gosh.
And I know that's hard.
It is very hard. I've been in that struggle every once in a while myself. All right, Susan, do you have any suggestions on how to approach the right side chronic hip pain I'm experiencing? I'm only 56 and it's disabling. Oh my goodness. That's too young.
Erik says that's your root chakra.
Oh, okay.
Erik says, and Erik says though that there are some supplements you can take for lubrication for your hips while you're working through this. He says, but that is definitely root chakra stuff going on. And when he says supplements, there's like, I don't want to mention what they are, but go to a Whole Foods or type place where where the supplements are natural, and let them know what's going on, and they will be able to help you with that. Some natural stuff.
What else can she do? Does she, like Ryan, a Dragna, maybe could cleanse and balance and whatever that root chakra, or we'll start with that. Would he be able to help?
Definitely. And if there's someone in her town that she feels that is authentic, is the word Erik is telling me to use, is authentic in what they do, then yes, go that route, definitely to help with that. And Erik says it may take 1 or 2 times because stuff will come up and you need to purge. Stuff will come up and you need to purge.
Ah, I see. Is there anything else she needs to do, like the emotional freedom technique, the tapping, or EMDR for previous trauma or past life regression in case she got hit with a sword in the hip, or anything else?
Erik says all of that stuff is good for it, but he says he's thinking of finances for her. Erik says one of the things that you can get too that's real good for inflammation is hemp seed. And you can buy that anywhere, and it's already organic because they don't need to put pesticides on it. And he says that's real good for inflammation.
Is it past life related? Other life, I should say.
Erik says it can be a tinge of it, but I get it's more this life, Erik.
Okay, all right.
More this life.
All righty. Got two from Bozina. What is my purpose in life, and what should I do professionally?
Erik said, what should you do professionally? He says, first start out with what is your passion? What do you really love to do? Like when you think about things that really make you happy, he says, that's what your profession needs to be. He says, because you may get total joy out of doing sign language.
Mm-hmm.
So go into that. You could do sign language, he says, and I don't know why he's using that, but you could use sign language on TV or in a church service, and that you could be freelance and work however you want. And I think he's telling me that because that's what she would like, is that kind of freedom.
Okay, that's basically an example of what could give her freedom.
Yes, and but he says to start with what makes you, like, what do you think about that you get real happy about? He says that's the things that he's saying that people don't think about. They think about
what's going to earn me a living.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so is that her purpose in life, is to find freedom?
He said, yes, you can say that. He says, but it's about her honoring herself. Because he's given me the feeling that there's been several lives where she never really honored herself. She denied herself.
Okay.
So
that's good advice. Mm-hmm. Same woman. Any messages from my husband, Chris?
I get that there's Erik there's some sadness in there, and on her part, in the crossing. He says he loves you.
Mm.
He loves you, and the way Erik says that he's saying that is, I don't know if she doubted that or what went on, but Erik is saying he really wants her to know that.
Oh, wow. Anything else from Chris? Any more specific messages or something?
Erik says he wants her to take care of herself.
Okay. Chris wants her to take better care of herself. Okay.
Yes.
Good.
Yes.
Okay. All right. We have one from Melissa. I have been going through a very tough time financially and feel as if I've lost my independence. I feel very lost. Can I get a finger the best direction for me financially? I've been told by another medium in a brief message that she heard growth when I asked her of my career, but that doesn't help me, to decipher. So point her in a direction, Erik, if you could.
Erik says, stop looking at he says he wants you to take your checkbook and write in $1 million and start looking at that as your balance. He says, because you keep looking at it, it's like it only has $10. And that's exactly what you keep getting, is just $10. So he said, at the very top of it, he says, write $1 million. and start focusing on that you have $1 million. He said, of course, money isn't going to give you everything that you want. He says, but start with that. And then he says, do a vision board of what you want, because there's more than what you want than just finance. There's a lot of other things you want in there besides that.
What do you mean a vision board?
Like he says, go through a magazine or something that you don't mind cutting up and putting pictures on there that symbolize the things that you really want. Because he's telling me it's not just finance what she wants, the financial, but there's other things that that she thinks finances will get her. So he says, make a vision board.
Oh, what a great idea!
And he says, when you do it, really feel whatever you're putting on that board with your heart.
Feel as if you already have it too, because that's what the law of attraction is like, right, Erik?
He said, that's it. He says, that's it. He said, if we knew just how powerful we are as creators, he said, we wouldn't sit there and doubt and wish. We would just know.
Yeah, scarcity is an illusion. So look at that board, look at it every day, and feel like you already got that going on. All right, I have one from Chris. I want to say hi to Mom. Miss her dearly. Does she have any messages to me or my loved ones?
Erik has brought her in, and she wants to acknowledge your hard work and your dedication. I don't know what that's about, but she obviously, you know what that's about. But she really wants to honor you and your hard work and your dedication for what you've done.
Oh.
She feels your love. She hears you. And she's definitely there, and she's definitely healthy and vibrant, and she has a ton of energy. So with her mentioning all that, I would think that her mom wasn't all those things.
Prior to, yeah. Okay. So now things have changed for the better. Oh, this is awesome.
And Erik says, yes, that is your mom around when you think she's around.
Oh, good. All right, good.
Yeah.
All right. So we have two from Inkjargal. I don't know about that. Sorry. The first is fasting and enema. Can it heal my leaky gut completely?
Erik says yes and no.
Well, what does he need to do?
If you do that, though, but you got to be careful what you're putting in your body, what you're putting back in it. So when you're putting things back in it, you got to, Erik says, the leaky gut, he says the autoimmune is called, he says there's a lot of names for it, but you have to be careful what you're putting back into your body. So when you're cleansing yourself, fasting and doing the other, he says, make sure what you're putting back in is clean food.
All right, like not processed. What about gluten? Should you stay away from glutens?
He said yes, because that's processed.
Oh yeah, I guess it is. Would low-dose naltrexone help since it battles inflammation and autoimmune disease? Or not?
Erik said, yeah, it wouldn't hurt. It wouldn't hurt.
Okay, so basically no processed foods, no gluten. What about dairy? Anything else you should stay away from?
He said, well, your dairy is your processed foods. And he's
okay. All right.
Erik's going, hey, I just want you to know I'm not anti anything, but this pertains to this person.
This person, right. Yeah. So should you be on what kind of diet? A paleo diet? What?
Erik laughs because that's what I'm on.
Oh, good.
He said yes, and he says, but it's, but what you're doing, he says, is you're not eating any processed foods.
Oh, okay. All right, good. In that diet. Okay.
Yeah, and then he says, once you get that going on, then you can see what he says, if you really want to incorporate something back in. He said sugar is like a real culprit, though, not to bring back in.
Oh yeah. Okay. Any other advice for this person? We're almost finished. I can't believe it.
As far as for
Well, anything.
the
General
leaky,
advice. General advice.
Eric says one of the reasons, though, he says this is happening in that is because this is preparing you for the next stage of your life, because evidently this person is extremely intuitive. And so sometimes our bodies are real sensitive to things, and we just can't eat the Twinkies and drink the Cokes like
You're talking about
other people.
mediums. Yeah. Oh, okay. Got it.
Yes,
Right.
yes. Some people just can't, eat that.
Yeah.
With this person, like they're very sensitive to a lot of energies around them too. So they need to be consciously aware of that.
Okay. Now from Beth, what is my higher self trying to tell me?
That you're right on target and you're following your path. You
Oh.
always think that you're doing something not just right.
But don't, Beth. You are, man.
Yeah.
Any other advice that her higher self might give her? Besides trust that you're on the right path?
Um, Erik says that she tries connecting with her higher self, and she said to trust and believe that that's what you're doing.
Oh, so you are, what you're getting, Beth, is actually from your higher self. So that's cool.
Yeah, yeah.
You can talk to your higher self using a pendulum and a little pendulum chart too. That's kind of fun.
Erik says a lot of people like the pendulum because it's something that you can see.
Yeah. And you can have a little chart with letters on it.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Cool.
And Erik says you can make your own chart however you want.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right, Gloria, why did Kristen block me from her group intuitive angel messages? Playground politics.
Erik's not answering.
Oh. What can you, okay, let's see if Erik has advice for Gloria. So he don't want to get in the middle of it, the negative energy of the chaos. That's something she has to learn about on her own, I can tell. Okay.
Erik says to reevaluate your behavior and not to take what it wasn't your behavior personal.
Okay. Any other advice or messages for Gloria?
He says he says don't look at it as that you did something wrong or you did something bad or that she did something wrong or he did something wrong or whatever it may be. But this is a opportunity for you to just start clearing out things that no longer work for you.
Oh, including people.
Yeah.
All right, good. All right, Jason has two. What am I supposed to do with my abilities? That's the first. And the second, do you see me being successful using my gifts?
Erik said yes. And you're much needed because he said, bro, we don't have very many men over here doing this.
I know, that's so true.
And he said, yes. He said, Erik said, yeah, you would be very, you'll be very successful. He says, get going. Start working.
All right. So what advice do you have for him to the first step to get in the right direction?
He said, mediums. People who are intuitive. He said, start hooking up with them and asking questions and to help you. He says, there will be some there that will help, that will be like a mentor to you to help you get going. And he says, because you're not as green as you think. And he said, just start asking them for some guidance and some help. He said, they'll be happy. He says, mediums love to help.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure. And so maybe he could even do practice sessions with them in a safe environment where he's not judged.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Cindy, I want to know the reason I was given chronic pain. I had surgery for it, but it caused damage. It damaged the sacral nerve. So what's the purpose behind that? Oh.
Erik says a part of it is that for some reason she feels like she deserves this kind of pain, like she needs to be punished.
Oh.
And
Okay.
Erik says
You don't, Cindy. Of course
no,
not.
Erik says
And maybe it's from a past life. It doesn't have to be from here, from this life that you feel that. It can be coming in from another life. So.
Well, one of them is. One of them is.
Yeah, I have a feeling,
And he says, but there are solutions to your pain now, but it's gonna, and this is part of your journey. This is part of what it's like you're working through several past lives stuff, because you're working through, because what you're doing is you're getting your power back, your strength back. And he tells me that this is part of it. He tells me you will find a solution to your pain, and that he said, but don't look into a more non-conventional way to get it.
So maybe past life regression. I mean, there's
Erik
all sorts
said,
of things that that could have caused
and
that.
Erik is saying that raffling, or raffling, or what is that?
Oh, rolfing?
Rolfing, yeah.
I don't know anything about it, but for some reason.
I don't either.
Yeah.
I don't either.
So
But
rolfing, I think it's ROLFING.
yeah,
Look at that.
yeah, because Erik is showing me that, and I'm like, I don't have.
Yeah. What about root chakra work?
Erik says all of that stuff will work for you, and the energy work, but he says you have to believe.
Yeah, of course. All right. And the Grinberg method also is really good. You don't have to believe with that. So that's like somatic experiencing work. So anyway, write all those down and check it out. Last question from Scott. I was wondering whether I will be living, where I will be living in the next few years regarding a career.
Erik says there's 2 places that you want to live. And he said, so you need to decide which place it is you want to live, and just visualize yourself being there. He says, you go on back and forth. He says, there's 2 places. And he said, Erik says there's a part of him that doesn't think he deserves to be living in one of them.
Oh,
so
is that the place he needs to be living?
Erik says that would be the place where he'd be that's closest to nature. And that's where it really makes him feel good, is when he's in nature.
So he should go to the place that has more nature.
Yes. Erik says,
feel okay, like I deserve this wonderful God-like paradise. So, all right.
Yes. And Erik says, and then Scott, you'll see how things start lining up for you.
Yeah, when you're in the environment you want to be in, you're right. Mm-hmm. Your life everything, all the dominoes just seem to stack in the right direction. Career, love life, everything.
And Erik says you got to believe. You have to believe.
Yeah, absolutely.
Even if the signs all around you are saying, this is shit, this isn't working, there's no way, he says, just keep believing.
Absolutely. Well, Denise and Erik, thank you so much for giving so much of your time for our sweet Raylene. Everybody send prayers and healing energy to her, and I will post this very soon. If you guys want to get in touch with Denise, you just go to www.deniseramon.com, and I will put that right here. Right? Anything else you want to say?
Erik wants to say he loves you, Mom. He just loves you, loves you, loves you. And he wants to congratulate you. I don't know what you're doing, but he just wants to congratulate you on whatever it is that you're doing.
Oh, probably surviving a few days ago. Okay. That might be it.
Yes.
Right. He's pulling through something. Yeah.
Yeah, he's really congratulating you on that.
Oh, that's great. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Take care.
Love you.
Bye.